Quentin Tarantino never rushed back into the director's chair, but rather wrote for pleasure and carefully prepared for new projects.
100%.
For decades in his free time, the author would jot ideas down for a future novel, which he never planned on publishing. It was a simple story used to exercise his style, and at the same time tell the story of Los Angeles in the late 1960s. A carefree time in Quentin's youth, yet packed with events for Hollywood. The text sparkled with hundreds of references to famous personalities working in that dream world, and created a world filled with homages and quotes.
The fuck are you talking about?
Hundreds of pages of random notes with unconnected scenes turned into the script of his 9th film while shooting Death Proof.
A lot of it drawn from some conversations that we'd had about my relationship with my stuntman, and in one in particular.
He had a guy who'd been with him for the last 8 or 9 years. Then at one point we were shooting, and he came to me and he goes, "Hey, look, Quentin, I got a guy." And he's like, he's my guy.
All right, and what's it gonna hurt then? If you need him, you got him, all right?
You start thinking about how many times have they just sat on movie sets day after day, just shooting the shit, dressed identically. And I'm sitting there looking at it from afar, and I go, wow, that's a really interesting relationship. So I think I was in London doing promotion work on Death Proof when I think I wrote the first 2 things on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And then in between projects, it's what I would do to get myself back into writing again.
So in 2016, after the promo tour of Hateful Eight and a few award ceremonies, Tarantino seriously started casting for his next picture. The director dreamed of snaring Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt from the first drafts of the script. Quentin had often called this duo the greatest stars of our time, and didn't believe that he would be able to convince both of them to play. Because of this, from the very early production stages, the project was associated with Tom Cruise, who had a shot at playing Cliff Booth.
Fair enough.
Luckily, both Leo and Brad agreed to unite with Tarantino, and even agreed to considerable financial sacrifices, cutting their usual salaries to $10 million. After signing the contract, Quentin dubbed the duet the new Robert Redford and Paul Newman. Their charisma strongly brought to mind the Western Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Who are those guys?
The trio of main characters was completed by Margot Robbie, who played Sharon Tate.
Well, that's me.
When Quentin had chosen the actors for the main roles, he invited them to his house and had a reading of the script. There was only one copy of the text, which never left his house.
I think I was early because the script looked pretty crisp. And then I got called back about, 6 weeks later. And I come back and it's all like coffee rings, spaghetti sauce, and things all crinkled and the whole thing.
No, but that's where you're like, okay, it's alive now.
Yeah,
this is
alive,
a living,
baby.
breathing document.
No.
After his first version of Hateful Eight had been stolen, Tarantino became seriously paranoid about another leak, and kept all the details of his project secret. And there were a lot of details. Margot Robbie's character was based on the real Sharon Tate, but the prototypes of Rick and Cliff were not so obvious.
Goddamn right.
Dalton embodies a generation of stars from Wild West TV series, which became spaghetti westerns.
You ever seen an Italian Western? Huh? They're awful. It's a fucking farce.
I don't think it's nice you laughing.
Rick is loosely associated with Ty Hardin, who Quentin called a poor copy of Steve McQueen.
Afraid there's some folks that wouldn't quite agree with you.
Ralph Meeker and Pete Duel.
Obviously, Quentin is a cinephile, but he's a lover of these actors that maybe an entire generation hasn't heard of. And he really puts them, talent-wise, as far as how they affect him as an audience member, up with the best of the best.
Oh, if you're talking about Ralph Meeker, he's literally my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah. I'm sorry, fellas. I just didn't think about it that way.
That he had a bit of a drinking problem. It sounds like the guy was undiagnosed bipolar, and the reason that he was drinking was to self-medicate himself. Leo got that.
Booth is a mixture of Gary Kent, who had shot at Spahn Ranch before the Manson family had settled there, and Gene LaBelle, who landed a role in the series The Green Hornet after the other stuntmen refused to work with Bruce Lee because of the constant beatings.
Well, the stuntmen hated Bruce on Green Hornet. No, it's in Matthew Polly's book. And before that, it's always been known. That's why Gene LaBelle was brought on, to teach Bruce respect for American stuntmen. Bruce had nothing but disrespect for stuntmen. He was always hitting them with his feet, and they got to be the point where, like, no, I refuse to work with him.
Lee's family criticized the portrayal, while the Chinese government required that the scene be deleted in order for the movie to be released in the People's Republic. But Tarantino refused to censor it.
I can understand his daughter having a problem with it. It's her fucking father. But anybody else, go suck a dick.
The relationship between the main characters, however, is an homage to the friendship of Burt Reynolds and his stunt double Hal Needham, who lived in the actor's guest house for 12 years and later became the highest paid stuntman in Hollywood. The aforementioned Burt Reynolds was portrayed by James Marsden.
Would you take a bite of a red apple?
Oh, you bet I would.
But the scene was cut because of the unexpected death of Reynolds. The actor died on the 6th of September, 2018. A few weeks before Quentin's movie began shooting.
You know, he was going to do this. He was going to be George Spahn. He did play it, all right? He didn't do it on film, but he rehearsed. And I've heard 4 different people tell me this, including his son, that the last thing he did before he died is he was running the lines, and then he went into the bathroom and he died. So the last thing he was doing was playing George Spahn.
Reynolds was replaced with Bruce Dern.
No, Jesus Christ. I relish the experience and I relish the opportunity to be put on the level I was on with him. That's excitement for me.
The role of Marvin Schwartz, which was based on a popular producer of Westerns who worked with Burt Reynolds, was written by Quentin exclusively for Al Pacino.
Ping, pow, zoom, zoom.
By the way, Schwartz's love for the 14 Fists of McCluskey was a reference to The Godfather, where a policeman of the same last name breaks Michael Corleone's jaw.
Take a hold of him. Stand him up. Stand him up straight.
Of course, one could talk about the references in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for almost longer than it takes to watch the film. But let's return to 2018. While he was choosing actors, Quentin was also choosing a team that would be able to bring to life his childhood memories of Los Angeles.
I grew up in Los Angeles, and the only people who truly love it are the people who love it the right way, are the people who grew up here. And when it comes to the movie posters, when it comes to the billboards that you see, those kind of signs and everything, yeah, there was a lot more boring ass shit back then, all right, you know, that was out there. But that's not what I remember. So I'm picking and choosing from the things that would stay in a little boy's memory. The things that would mean something to a little boy. That light blue Carmen Ghia was my stepdad's, car. That was what he drove back then. That camera angle, looking up at Brad, is pretty much my viewpoint of looking up at him as we would drive around Los Angeles.
The picture doesn't depict Los Angeles with 100% accuracy, but is a slightly exaggerated version of the memories of that time. Nonetheless, you can feel the attention to detail in every scene.
I was able to shut down Hollywood Boulevard and recreate it back to 1969 without using CGI. That was pretty amazing.
If you do a Hollywood Boulevard closure, you have to have pretty much 100% of the merchants on board.
Every little store is owned by another person. So you have to go and make all the deals with them, then figure out how we're going to facade. And that's where Quentin was amazing, is that he was willing to also go in front of the Chamber of Commerce and the City Council and say, I love Hollywood, I want to recreate these, please let us do it.
You can feel the attention to detail in every scene, beginning with the fonts, advertisements, and posters, and ending with the architecture. Barbara restored the facades of dozens of theaters.
The full original look, the original neon, the exact movie of that date is actually what's on the marquee that was playing there.
So when you drive down the road, when we're shooting in the night, and it was like being in a time machine.
But Quentin's favorite location was Spahn Ranch.
I actually think the Spahn Ranch sequence with Brad is one of my favorite sequences I've ever done.
This scene showed Quentin's ability to incorporate classic film achievements into his movies.
There's this really great story about Francis Ford Coppola doing Robert Duvall sequences in Apocalypse Now. Him and Vittorio Storaro come up realize that if the helicopters aren't in the background, it just doesn't work. It's just dead. After you've established the helicopters have to be flying in the air behind every single solitary shot.
Tarantino uses this same move at the Spahn Ranch.
Well, I go, look, if there's any shot in Spahn Ranch, I need to have a dog in the background. I mean, there can never be a shot that I don't see a dog doing something.
Also, the barking never stops for a second. Filming started in June of 2018 in Los Angeles.
Back to one. Why? Because we love making movies!
The opening scenes of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood are full of Tarantino's beloved illusions. While he was searching for a location, the director visited the house of Lee Van Cleef, who had a gigantic portrait of himself hanging in his garage. This design element both intrigued and unsettled Tarantino, and he immediately added a similar element to the parking lot at Rick's house. By the way, Van Cleef is a star from films directed by Sergio Leone, whom Tarantino believes to be the best maker of spaghetti westerns in history. It was Leone's work which gave him the idea for the film's title.
I've seen enough, all right? Nobody likes spaghetti westerns.
Dalton's Cadillac belongs to Michael Madsen. He had also ridden in it during Reservoir Dogs, but this time the car got more screen time than him. Madsen got a role thanks to a joke.
I told him I'm sick of being killed. I said, Quentin, stop killing me. Every time I work for you, I have to get shot or blown up.
To counter, Quentin incorporated Michael into an episode of Bounty Law, where the actor finally stayed alive.
Yeah, well, you know, most people just ain't partial, seeing dead bodies.
But let's get back to the set, where the scope of Tarantino's ideas was wowing the producers. The director avoided computer graphics, and even Cliff's trips didn't have any CGI. The highways were filled with retro cars and were closed off for 4 hours at a time. No one in Hollywood had done that in the last decade. Quentin's enthusiasm was contagious when led to the car manager Stephen Butcher to get access to a Ford Galaxy, which was used by the members of the Manson family and enabled him to create an exact copy.
So we replicated the car exact. So all the rust, all the dents, everything are almost exact on that car.
What the hell do you think you're doing bringing that noisy hunk of shit around here at midnight?
DiCaprio was surprised by how difficult the role of Dalton was for him.
Whoa. Hey.
I'm sorry about that.
Here, put these on.
Playing a mediocre actor turned out to be much harder than he anticipated. Something which helped him to enliven the character was adding a memory problem.
Screwing up his lines wasn't in the script. That was Leo's idea. And so then he goes, I think I need to have a problem here. I don't think this should be triumphant. I think there should be a problem. Then I come back from that problem.
God damn it, I fucked this whole thing up, Sam. I did. I fucked this whole thing up. Can we just go back, please? Can we just cut?
Tarantino hadn't written that in the script, but Leo insisted that they film a version including that aspect.
Okay, that's a neat idea. And so I wrote it that way. And then, okay, but now we need to have a Travis Bickle moment in your trailer as you do a meltdown.
I practiced them and now I don't look like I goddamn practiced them. You're sitting there like a fucking baboon.
This scene was based on the pilot episode of Lancer, and besides Dalton, all the characters were from there.
Long time, Johnny Madrid.
Yeah, long time.
Care for a drink?
Yeah, sure.
After you, Ticatu.
Pepe! Get your behind that bar, I have a guess.
Sam Wanamaker was portrayed by Nicholas Hammond, who had begun his career in the 60s.
I'm Friedrich. I'm 14. I'm impossible.
Absolutely fantastic. I loved it.
While the main heroes of the show, Johnny Madrid and Scott Lancer, were played by Timothy Oliphant and Luke Perry.
My valise, please. Good man.
There was this immediate excitement in seeing Luke Perry, on set. It was incredible. I remember being, in my teens, and he was the manifestation of the new Dean on television, and everyone was crazy about him. And I felt this overwhelming feeling of kind of being starstruck. Okay. It really affected me when I heard that news. It was really heartbreaking, to say the least. Incredibly generous human being.
The depiction of Lancer would become his last appearance on screen. In a tragic coincidence, 4 months before that, Wayne Maunder passed away, the actor who played Lancer in the original television show. There are more allusions to Quentin's films among the characters.
You know my wife, Janet, don't you?
Yeah. Steer clear of her.
The married stunt coordinators played by Zoe Bell and Kurt Russell hint at Death Proof, where Bell played herself.
Agility, reflexes, nimbleness. There's few human beings that can fuck with Zoe on that front.
Oh, Kim, I like you too.
Since before that, she had become famous as Uma Thurman's double in the Kill Bill trilogy. And Kurt played stuntman Mike.
I've been running so long.
When I read the script, I said, Quentin, I don't know if there's anybody alive today that can appreciate this more than me.
The actor knew of the story not just from hearsay. The young Julia Butlers epitomized all the children of Hollywood.
It's the actor's job to strive for 100% effectiveness. Naturally, we never succeed, but it's the pursuit.
In the 60s, Russell often played similar roles, but unlike thousands of his competitors, he was able to fasten himself firmly on the film industry.
Call me Snake.
Another reference to the children is the girl who sells Cliff the special cigarette.
You smoke it gets you high.
How much?
50 cents.
More than 10 years ago, Pearl Haney Jardine played Bibi in Kill Bill Volume 2.
Freeze, Mommy.
Bang, bang! Oh!
Well, we can't talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood without mentioning the finale.
Around midnight, a completely drunk Rick Dalton started making a blender of frozen margaritas.
There are many spoilers ahead, so continue watching only if you've seen the film.
Why not?
The culmination begins with the appearance of the foursome from the Manson family. In Quentin's interpretation, Mia Hawke's character gets cold feet and runs away, although in real life Linda Kasabian stays in the car. Later, her testimony helped to convict Tex Watson, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Susan Atkins in court.
All were found guilty of murder in the first degree.
Tex introduces himself to Cliff using the phrase which he said when he entered Tate's home.
I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business.
What unfolds next is possibly the goriest scene in all of Tarantino's filmography. For a director having a track record like he does, that's saying something.
This is a movie. We can do anything in here, and as long as it's all just make-believe, then we can take it for what it is, as make-believe, and it is just fantasy. You get to have these verboten moments that you can watch and be appalled, and then, as effed up as it is, I actually tried to make it kind of funny. And you should be surprised at your own reaction and even questioning your own reaction.
Embarrassed by.
But as far as I'm concerned, that's a great time at the movies. To have those kind of conflicted emotions as opposed to just having images glaze over you, that's a great time at the movies.
What was that? Jesus Christ!
Sadie, by the way, the character for which Tarantino reserved with the worst death, was the most bloodthirsty member of the sect. When the characters finish with the Manson followers, music from the Western The Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean comes on. This is worth noting because at the beginning of that film appear the words, "Maybe this isn't the way it was. It's the way it should have been."
Hi, Rick. Hi. Oh, it's so nice to finally meet you.
Once again, Tarantino used the finale to rewrite history. Last time he eradicated the Nazis, and this time he not only saved the lives of Sharon and her friends, but also the era of peace and love. The violence of the Manson family put an end to the trends of long hair and going barefoot. After the lawsuit against the murderers, no one wanted to look like a hippie.
Today, the magic is gone. Aimless and disorganized, the hippies have fallen prey to their own free spirit. Free drugs and too much free publicity have gradually corrupted them.
What scares people, why it lasts so much today, I think, is because it was a sobering, dark look at the dark side of human nature. And that pivotal moment was a real loss of innocence, and I think that's what the film so beautifully addresses.
Fucking hippie motherfuckers.
Tarantino finished filming his magnum opus on the 1st of November 2018. The first version of the film, edited by Fred Raskin, was over 4 hours long, but Quentin wanted a dynamic film, so over the next year he cut the time in two. Hundreds of minutes were left on the editing table, and several characters were removed altogether. That's why the premiere did not include the appearances of Danny Strong, the aforementioned James Marston, or Tim Roth on screen. Die-hard fans harbor the hope that one day they will see all the deleted scenes, since Quentin promised to release the full version of the picture.
Holy shit.
The premiere of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood occurred on the 22nd of July, 2019. Over the next 3 months, the picture made over $300 million at the box office, the second most profitable in Quentin's career after Django Unchained.
It was a pleasure doing business with y'all.
Then, in the beginning of 2020, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood received 10 Oscar nominations. And though yes, the main victory at the Academy Awards went to Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, Quentin's film won a statuette for Best Production Design and Decorations.
This is the first Oscar and nomination for Barbara Ling, the second Oscar and 8th nomination for Nancy Haig.
That evening, Brad Pitt also celebrated as he received the first Oscar of his career.
I think it's time we give a little love to our stunt coordinators and our stunt crews.
It's interesting that Pitt celebrated the victory in the Best Supporting Actor category, despite the fact that he spent no less time on screen than DiCaprio.
Talking about you're a stunt double. Come on now, shit.
And while the main prize seemed to be taken out from Quentin's nose, his sadness didn't last long. Certainly not longer than 2 weeks. On the 22nd of February, the director received a much more important prize. In Tel Aviv, Daniela bore him a son. The boy was called Leo.